What's going on, my Jack brother? Coach Scott here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 5 tips to help you get lean and stay lean without counting calories. Now, I personally rarely count calories anymore, and it's because of the 5 tips that I'm about to share with you in this video. It all comes down to portion control, and tip number 1 is to have structured meals that you consume consistently throughout the week. Now, I personally consume 3 meals just about each and every day. It begins with my breakfast shake, which is 1 cup of homemade kefir, 1 cup of unsweetened cashew milk, a scoop of protein powder, an load of spinach, and a banana. Along with this, I usually have 2 drops of black maca extract that I put under my tongue. My second meal is 4 free-range eggs from my friend's local farm, some mixed veggies, and I'll have on the side a bowl of 2/3 cup oats, 140 grams of frozen mixed berries, and I'll do 2 drops of usually the tricolor maca extract under my tongue. The third meal is 260 grams of plain Greek yogurt. Sometimes I'll do the honey Greek yogurt or vanilla Greek yogurt. It just depends on my mood and my palate that day. And I'll have 140 grams of frozen mixed berries in there. And I'll also do 2 drops of maca extract under my tongue there as well. Dinner is where I get my variety, and I usually have like maybe 5 to 10 go-to meals that I consume on a consistent basis. Usually I have like salmon and sweet potato and veggies, or salmon, rice, and veggies 2, sometimes 3 times per week. It's one of my favorite meals. I'll have like a fajita, chicken fajita bowl with some rice, chicken with fajita seasoning, some sort of veggie in there. I'll have that usually once a week. Man, there's a few go-to meals that I'll have consistently on a weekly basis. So because I have structured with these meals, especially with those 3 meals each and every day, it makes it mindless for me. It really makes it effortless. It makes it easier for me to stick with my diet, but at the same time, it makes it a lot easier for me to kind of gauge, like, if I am not losing the amount of weight that I want to lose each and every week, I know that I just need to reduce the portion sizes of what I'm consuming. Tip number 2 is to be as consistent as possible with your portion sizes. If you're just eyeballing your foods, it can be very easy to be off by several hundred calories at the end of the day. And you may be thinking to yourself, man, I'm eating the same things every single day. How come I'm not losing weight? You may very well be, like, a lot of the days, eating a little bit bigger portion sizes than you actually think you're consuming. So I highly recommend, I mean, it's way easier to be consistent with your portion sizes than you may realize, especially like for me, if you take the meals that I consume, for example, with the shake. I mean, I'm putting it in a blender so I can see that the homemade kefir is going up to the 1 cup. I can see when I add in the 1 cup of unsweetened cashew milk, it's going up to the 2 cup mark. My protein powder, I just make sure it's a level scoop each and every time. The load of spinach, I just fill it right up to the frickin' top, and I throw in the banana there. The second meal is the eggs, the 4 eggs. Again, each egg is not going to be exactly the same size. They're going to be a little bit off in calories. The veggies that I have, I don't care at all with the portion size. I just throw the veggies in there, eat as many of those as I possibly can. The bowl of oats, so what I'll do is I'll put my bowl on a food scale. Food scale is like 10 bucks, guys. If you're gonna pour in the oats in your bowl on the countertop, it's no different than putting it on a food scale and actually getting an accurate measurement. At least you know you're consistently consuming 2/3 cup of oats each and every day. And then I put in, so I'll zero that out and put in the 140 grams of frozen mixed berries. So at least I know my portion sizes are the same, and it's no extra effort from my part. I don't care what the calories are in it. You just keep making sure that you're keeping that portion size the same. Same thing for the Greek yogurt. Dinner, I don't worry about too much. I mean, there's some things like if I'm having rice, I mean, the rice cooker has the measuring in there, so I'll pour in like some sort of broth, whether it's, I love a spicy Thai broth, so I'll pour that up to the 1 cup mark, and then I have the cup that comes with the measuring cup that comes with the rice cooker, so I know when I'm filling it up to 1 cup of the broth in the rice cooker, I'm going to do the 1 cup of the rice that I'll put in there as well. So be a little bit more precise with your measurements, a little more consistent with it, because that's going to help you gauge when you know your portion sizes are consistent and you're not achieving the fat loss that you desire. You need to reduce those portion sizes, and you kind of know, all right, instead of 2/3 cup of oats, maybe I'm gonna do 1/3 cup of oats. Instead of 260 grams of plain Greek yogurt, I'm just gonna do 200 grams of plain Greek yogurt. So you just make your adjustments, slight little adjustments, and then see how your body responds. Tip number 3 is to have a heightened sense of awareness when you're eating. So make sure you're taking your time with each and every meal, chewing your food slowly and savoring every bite, stopping when you reach that point of satisfaction, and have that heightened sense of awareness for those times when you've walked away from the table, like 10, 15, 20 minutes later, you're like, oh wow, I'm a lot more full than I thought I was. So you need to be aware, like the next time you have that meal, you need to stop eating a little bit sooner. So really pay attention to those hunger and satiety cues. Not always the most reliable. Those skills come over time, they develop over time. It's definitely a learned skill, and it's a lot more challenging with the highly processed foods. It's like if you have a chocolate bar, it's not going to like fill you up as much as like a huge bowl of veggies and lean protein would. So for me to eat to the point of satiety with chocolate bars, I'd probably hit my daily calorie intake and be like, oh yeah, that's pretty good, I feel all right, when's the next meal? So highly processed foods that are more calorie dense and lower in food volume aren't going to fill up your stomach, but they are definitely going to make it a lot tougher for you to lose weight. So try to consume mostly whole, natural, nutrient-rich foods would be a good lesson from that, but definitely just have that heightened sense of awareness with each and every meal that you're consuming, and definitely take your time. And that's the key. Like, you're gonna get more joy out of each and every meal when you're taking your time with it, when you're chewing it slowly, when you're savoring every freaking bite, when you're chewing your food slowly. I mean, that's a big part of the digestion process happens in the mouth when you're chewing that food in there. So if you skip that step, it's going to make it a lot harder on your digestion system, and like you may not even get as much nutrients from your food as well. So chew your food slowly, savor each and every bite, have that heightened sense of awareness when you're reaching that point of satisfaction and not allowing yourself to get over full and definitely not stuffed. And that's a great segue for tip number 4, which is to try to have a lean protein and veggies with each and every meal. Protein tends to be a bit more satiating. It's going to fill up your stomach a little bit longer, and it's going to keep you feeling satisfied for longer because it takes a little bit longer for it to break down. Veggies are low in calories and high in volume. So you could consume a whole bunch of veggies and it'd be very low calories, and it's really going to fill up your stomach. So combining those together is going to really make it tough for you to overeat. I think that's one of the simplest things I could suggest to anybody who's trying to lose fat and struggling, is like, try to have as much veggies as you possibly can, as long as it's not going to cause you any kind of gastric distress. But that's, again, like I said earlier, like I would rather you not kind of measure or weigh out your veggies. I just want you having as much veggies as you possibly can. It's a win-win situation all around. Not only is it going to fill up your stomach and be lower in calories, but it is just loaded with micronutrients. And if you're consuming like cruciferous veggies like broccoli and cauliflower and stuff like Brussels sprouts, those things are great for our male hormone health as well. So many benefits that come along with that, as well as protein being like muscle sparing, and in addition to the satiety level. So I like to, like when I'm consuming a meal, I typically go for the veggies first. I'll eat all the veggies, and then I'll go for the lean protein, and that's gonna kind of fill me up. And then whatever carbs are left over, like if I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, I'm full, I'd rather it be not eating all of the carbs on my plate. But I gotta say, like, I can't remember the last time I haven't finished everything on my plate, but if that was the case, just something to consider. Make sure the carbs are the last thing that you're going to eat, and so you don't feel the need to eat. If you're already full, like, all right, I'm done with the carbs, because those tend to be a little bit more calorie dense as well. But at the same time, if it's a sweet potato, it's going to be very nutrient rich for you as well. So I would encourage you to eat that. But just a little tip, consuming a lean protein and veggies with each and every meal can really go a long way in helping you manage your weight, lose fat, and maintain it, stay lean for life. Tip number 5 is to become aware of the mindless snacking that may be happening throughout the week. Typically it's stuff that you kind of brush off. You're like, doesn't really matter. Like something like a handful of mints that you may be having throughout the day. We have her one at a time here and there. At the end of the day, it could add up to 200 calories and you're not really thinking about it. Or at the end of the day, you're watching TV, you're just a little bit hungry, put your hand and grab into the bowl of nuts there and grab a handful of them. I mean, that could be upwards of 300 calories as well, or any other little kind of snack. Even just polishing off your kid's plate, or maybe your kids didn't finish a snack there. You see it sitting on the table, and being a parent, you don't want to see anything go to waste, so you have that. So just be aware of all those things outside of your structured meals that may be adding up and causing you to not lose the desired amount of fat that you're hoping to achieve each and every week. And it may just be a matter of limiting that the mindless little snacking may be the things that is what is holding you back, and you can keep the structured meals the same and just pay attention to, all right, I'm not allowing myself to deviate from my structured meals. I'm not going to mindless snack on all this stuff. I'm gonna stick to the plan and roll with it. Now those are 5 tips to help you get lean without counting calories. In order to stay lean without counting calories, you're just basically gonna follow those same principles. You are consuming the same kind of structured meals throughout the week. You're just going to increase the portion sizes a bit to the point where you're able to maintain your weight, hold your weight steady. You're not losing weight, you're not gaining weight, and if you do have a desire to build muscle, you're gonna wanna make sure that you are bumping up those portion sizes to the point where you're gaining just a little bit of weight each and every month. Now, although you're not counting calories, I still think it's a good idea to pay attention to food labels. So you have some sort of awareness of the calories that are in the foods that you're consuming. And when you dine out at a restaurant, a lot of the menus will have the calories next to the meals that you order. So it can be a very eye-opening experience of how many calories are in those meals. Not that it's going to deter you from eating it, but just to pay attention. Like, you can't eat like that all the time. And I still highly recommend you spend like just 1 to 2 weeks of tracking your calories, the foods that you typically consume, maybe not every single thing, but just to have some sort of idea of what you're consuming on a daily basis. I always find like everyone who's been resistant to tracking calories, it's been such an eye-opening educational experience, and it's not for life. Like, I don't recommend you track calories for life. I really recommend that calorie tracking only be during the short term to give you that education, to give you that heightened sense of awareness. But again, it's not necessary. Portion control is definitely going to be effective, but you do need to follow those 5 tips and try to be as consistent with your intake as possible and as structured with your nutrition as possible. Otherwise, you're just blindly guessing, and you're gonna make it a lot tougher on yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this video and these 5 tips. If you did, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, please do me a favor and share it with them. More than anything, I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights, share your feedback. Let me know which tip resonated most with you. And before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you in the next video.